goodness. Such a great joy to be here. And I have to say that what we build here really truly does live in me for the rest of the year. And simultaneously, the moment I leave here, something starts bubbling in me that's like, this is what I want to explore next year, you know? And it's a touchstone and a well. And I am filled with such gratitude for all of you who come here and all of you who offer your gifts. And actually, you know what I'd love to do right now? Let's have a group sigh. Let's take a big breath. I want to hear your sigh. So we'll take a big breath, like we'll go, and a big sigh. Beautiful. Yes, we listen, and so it's sort of nice to hear ourselves in the space. So my talk today is called Quenching Humanity's Thirst, the Courage to Live a Radiant Life. So we are thirsty. Yes, we are thirsty, and we are thirsty in so many ways. We are thirsty for beauty. We are thirsty for love. We are thirsty for right relationship. We are thirsty for daring. We are thirsty for manifesting something tangible. Many of us are thirsty or hungry. Do you know, if the Tibetan gives us the phrase, water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men, you can imagine that we're going to be thirsty for some time to come. Yes, that there will be thirsty men for some time to come. And if we are thirsty, that's a symptom that says we're already dehydrated. Have you heard that? You know, if you're thirsty, it's too late. You should have been drinking all along, right? Yeah. So, particularly now, and we've said this in many different ways already, particularly now, we're in a crisis situation where we as humanity are desperately thirsty for the wisdom, you know, for something that actually nourishes us, for something actually that sustains us, that fills us. And here's the thing. We're 90% water. So what does that mean? That means that we ourselves are the water of life that must quench the thirst. Right? I mean, on a metaphorical level, you know, we are the waters themselves. Water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. And this, to me, suggests, of course, that only we can quench humanity's thirst. And we do that through daring to live a radiant life. Radiant life. The courage to live a radiant life. Very Leo, yeah? Very Leo. Now, David White says, to be human is to become visible and carry what is hidden as a gift to others. To be human is to become visible and carry what is hidden as a gift to others. So, I love that. To become visible, of course, suggests incarnating, arriving on this earth, showing up, manifesting. But it also suggests something else to me. It suggests actually showing up as part of the solution, right? And not blending into the grayness of the problem. To actually become visible. And you can become visible in an intimate conversation. Do you know? It has something to do with lighting ourselves so that we are seen, so that we are perceived as part of the light that will heal humanity. Right? To be human, and to be human is to become visible. How will you become visible? Many of us feel invisible. Yes? Many of us feel, I don't know what it is that I have to offer. And I love, while carrying what is hidden, the ageless wisdom, while carrying what is hidden, what is secret, what is sacred, as a gift. So that suggests that to be human, you are carrying a gift. as a gift to others. So there's so much to that. Visibility, carrying the sacred, carrying the hidden, and offering it as a gift. That's to be human. Yeah? But it's sort of terrifying to do that on a certain level. And where do we begin? So as you know, many of you know, I'm a lover of poetry, because I think poetry cuts to the essential and gives us images for a lot of words. And a couple of years ago, Eva Smith gave me this website, Panhala, at Yahoo Groups, I think .com, I think that's what it is. But every day a poem arrives in my email, and with a beautiful, beautiful image. And I'm so deeply moved by, I don't even know the name of the man that sends it out, but I'm so deeply moved every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one day this poem arrived, and I never would have found it otherwise, really. It's by a woman named Joan Murray. And I think it speaks to exactly what the note we're starting to sound right now. And it's called Her Head. And I'll tell you about the picture that came with it afterwards. In Ekovukeni, near Natal, South Africa, a woman carries water on her head. After a year of drought, when 1 child in 3 is at risk of death, she carries water on her head. She returns from a distant well carrying water on her head. The pumpkins are gone, the tomatoes withered, but the woman carries water on her head. The cattle kraals are empty, the goats gaunt, no milk now for the children, but she is carrying water on her head. The engineers have reversed the river. Those with power can keep their power, but one woman carries water on her head. In the homelands, where dusty crowds watch empty roads for water trucks, one woman trusts herself with treasure and carries water on her head. The sun does not dissuade her, nor the dried earth that blows against her, as she carries water on her head in a huge and dirty pail with an idle handle resting on a narrow can. This woman is carrying water on her head. This woman who girds her neck with safety pins, this one who carries water on her head, trusts her own head to bring to her people what they need now between life and death. This woman is carrying water on her head. This woman trusts herself with treasure. And the image was exquisite. South African woman, vast desert, old, pail, 5 gallons, her dress streaming behind her, alone, walking through the desert, trusting herself with treasure and carrying water on her head. This is her water of life. She trusts herself to bring on her head what her people need now between life and death. If that was not a perfect image of what each and every one of us should be doing, crossing the desert with the water on our head to return from a distant well. And let me tell you what, this is our distant well. This is our plug-in point, one of them, right? There are many for some of us. But this is a plug-in point. She returns from a distant well carrying water on her head. And this is what we can do here, right? We can carry the water from the distant well. And it requires tremendous trust of ourselves. It requires us feeling into the need of our family, of our community, of the person that's sitting across from us at lunch. What is the need? Well, how can we feel into this need? And how can we begin to meet that need, the simplicity of that need? Right? So there's a profound trust that has to occur, and a profound simplicity, as Lawson talked about. That's what's required. There's water in my village that's required. I will find an old pail. I will balance it on my head for miles. The sun does not dissuade me, nor the dried earth that blows against me. I'm hot, I'm dirty, and I have a mission, and I have a journey. I have a point to reach. You know? So, to me, this poem is so essential. And what is the water that you are carrying? Now, I don't know. You know, so often in the last years teaching, we have had conversations. You know, students and friends. What is it that you want to give? You know, what is your water? What is your gift? And we say, I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not sure yet. I'm worried. I'm afraid. You know, and I think that not knowing is often the layer above fear, sadness. You know, it's a cloudy Neptunian kind of cloud that says, I'm not willing to name it yet, because if I name it, it will be terrifying. If I name it, then I have to do it, right? So there's a wonderful teacher I love, David Data, who's an author and a teacher, and he speaks of art/yoga versus therapy versus spiritual practice. And I want to just talk about the first two. So he says, therapy. We all know what therapy is. How do we fix ourselves, right? I need to work out. My elbow hurts a lot. I need to lose 5 pounds. I haven't processed my family history. These are all important, right? These are all important issues. However, we could spend our lives in therapy, yes? And frankly, you can do parallel paths, absolutely. You know, I have been on the therapeutic path, and I honor it, and it has allowed me to give my gift in a different way. However, what he says is that yoga/art is the opening to that. It is the radical unfurling of the heart, and it is when you fully give yourself in the moment. No matter how broken, no matter how shy, no matter how weighty, no matter how depressed and feeling rejected we feel, no matter what, we drop it. And we say, in this moment, there's the need, and I am unfurling my heart, and I am giving my humanity to you. I am giving you my light, and I will give until I am given, until I am spent, until I have offered all. Yeah? So it's bliss. It's, you know, and art, you know, Dad was talking about this in the first night. You know, if we can touch these levels, these ineffable levels of creativity, then art becomes a totally different thing. If we open in a radically loving way to what can descend. So art should be, you know, life should be art. And the yoga of offering all. So yes, let's do parallel paths. Absolutely. Let's take care of our bodies. I am an advocate of that. Let's take care of our bodies. Let's breathe. I continue year after year after year to learn to breathe. And you'd think by now I would breathe, but I still don't breathe, right? You know. So let's breathe and let's process what needs to be processed so that we can take the breath and share. Yeah? So whatever state we're in, we feel the world, we meet the need. Now, David Whyte has a poem called What to Remember When Waking. And again, you know, this is on all levels, right? This is on all levels. So he says, in that first hardly noticed moment in which you wake, coming back to this life from the other, more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where everything began. There is a small opening into the new day which closes the moment you begin your plans. What you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough for the vitality hidden in your sleep. To be human is to become visible and carry what is hidden as a gift to others. To remember the other world in this world is to live in your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged. Now, looking through the slanting light of the morning window towards the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the waiting desk? Now, looking through the morning light of the morning window towards the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the waiting desk? Now I imagine that we all, many of us, 3/4, have an open and lovely white page on the waiting desk. Right? Call out your book. No, I mean, really, we you know, what a beauty we have. Hopefully we have a message here, you know, that wants to be given. And this piece of the poem that is so deeply important to me is what urgency calls you to your one love. Because let me tell you, it's not enough to feel the need and say that's the need that needs to be met. Because then you go into a Virgo, sad little state of certitude, and you feel depleted, and you feel wretched, and you stay up till 4 a.m, and you say, but I did it, and I worked hard, and you're miserable. You know, I mean, because I use the Virgo energy, just say because there's such devotion there. But what is it to have one's devotion lined up with the urgency that calls you to your one love? How beautiful would that be? And it's absolutely possible to feel the need, to feel the need, and to trust yourself with your treasure, to trust yourself to, with your own head, bring to your people what they need now, and have it meet the urgency that calls you to your one love. Yeah?
Yeah.
And also, what that beautiful line, what shape waits in the seed of you to grow? And I don't care how old you are, there is still a shape waiting in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky. And you are not a troubled guest on this earth, right? You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident. You were invited. Right? Okay. So now, I would like to actually share with you a little piece of a documentary film. Has anybody seen the movie Afghan Star? Okay, who won? Okay, great. So, all right, Afghan Star. Just take a look. This is 2 minutes, and I'll tell you about the film afterwards. But take a look, breathe it in, and see what you think.
وقتی که من موسیقی رو گوش میکنم دیگه تو فکر میکنم که دیگه چی بیخی دیگه خوش هستم دیگه ساعتم تیر میشه اینمی چی موسیقی خواندن است دیگه که آدم اگه جگرخون باشه 1 دقیقه میشه و پس سرحال میشه جگرخونی گم میشه اگه اون نمیبود خواندم دیگه بیخی جگرخون میبود یه چیزم نمیبود که گوش میکرد اگه خوندن نمیبود دنیا آخر بود جا بیبود Yeah, we got that shit.
That little boy, they are the same words. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so Afghan Star is a documentary film that was made, I think, in late 2008. And it is basically following American Idol in Afghanistan. It's not American Idol itself, but it's a version of American Idol. So they collected 12 singers. They auditioned thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. 99%, of course, were men, but there were a few women. And you see them audition. You see them get down to a number of about 12, where there are 10 men and 2 women. The 2 women, one of them is very traditional and is in full garb and does not move and sings her song. And the other one, Satari, is a total Aquarian and insists on freedom, insists on expression. And what's fascinating about this is it's like American Idol in that everybody votes on the phone. So you see throughout the film, people sell their cars so that they can buy cell phones, so that they can vote for the person that they love. And it crosses all the ethnic groups. I can't list all the names of the different ethnic groups, but it's very, as you know, separated. And it's the first time in years that there was any crossover of support. And there's one young man that when there are 3 people left, there's one young man who is so second-ray. And the final song that he sings is, he lists off ethnic group after ethnic group, and he says, "You are my brother. You are my brother. You are my brother." And he runs as an Afghani. He runs, and he refuses to run as his own ethnic group. So suddenly, these people who are giving their gift in the face of tremendous death threats, the security, it's terrifying. The government is obviously not happy that this is going on. In the face of them giving their gift, a democracy is occurring through music, through beauty. 11 million, 1/3 of the Afghanistan population, 11 million people voted for the final showdown. Now, Satari was voted out early. There was like 10 people left. There were 8 people left. She was voted out. And they get to sing a final song. I don't know how they do this. After you're given the news that you're being booted, they're like, "And now she will sing a final song." I'd be like, sobbing. But, they somehow get it together. And you could feel in her this insistence that she was going to give her gift in this country regardless. And she starts to go across the stage, and she starts to dance. And dancing is this. I mean, it's barely anything, right? But dancing, of course, is not allowed under Islamic law. and women do not dance, and women do not dance certainly on the stage. And she dances, and there's a certain introductory music that goes on for about 30 seconds, and she dances, and then she takes her headdress off. Now, part you can feel as you watch the film. Part of it is her young, emotional body being defiant, and saying, mm-mm. And part of it is absolutely the insistence that she will shine forth. That she will shine forth, and that through her shining forth, through the courage to live a radiant life of beauty, she will actually change the structure of her country. And then you watch the people watching her, and every contestant says, oh, this is terrible, she should not have done this. Even the cutting-edge contestants, she should not have done this is awful. She is a loose woman, da-da-da-da-da. But you can also see on their faces, she's doing this. She's doing this. Yeah. Something is changing here. So you can feel by the end of this show that something about the fabric of the whole country has shifted. And it's quite beautiful. It's quite beautiful. And then this little boy, for goodness sake, right? This little boy who is blind and in poverty, and we don't know about his life, but look at the radiance and the joy as he sings, as he insists on, in his family, you can feel his family saying, sing, go on, sing. And he's singing, and he says, this is the solution. This is what you're thirsty for. You don't even know it. And just such, I don't know, when I watch that, just such a joy in feeling his joy, right? His joy. And his, I don't know, complete okayness with all the sort of day-to-day things. There he is. Here's my song. Yeah. So, he also had, you can feel the openness of his heart. You can feel the willingness to be touched. Now, last night we had Azim was, of course, amazing, and we had a beautiful example of what it is to break the heart open and live that way. And Mary Oliver is a poet that works in the natural world, and I want to share a poem of hers about breaking the heart open, because that's another necessary ingredient, I think, to live a courageous and radiant life. So this poem is called Lead. Lead. Here's a poem to break your heart. Are you willing? This winter, the loons arrived in our harbor and died, one by one, of nothing we could see. A friend told me of one that lifted its head and opened the elegant beak and cried out in the long, sweet savoring of its life, which, if you have heard it, you know is a sacred thing, and for which, if you have not heard it, you had better hurry to where they still sing. And believe me, tell no one just where that is. The next morning, this loon, speckled and iridescent, and with a plan to fly home to some hidden lake, was dead on the shore. I tell you this to break your heart, by which I mean only that it break open and never close again to the rest of the world. And isn't it interesting, with a plan to fly home to some hidden lake? And David White says, what you can plan is too small for you to live. But there's something about the heart being broken open and staying open that is necessary for the giving of one's gift. And also there's something I just have to say about, have you heard a loon call? Have you heard that haunting, sacred, hidden offering. You know, it's also carrying what is hidden. These birds, it was like a sacrifice to say, break your heart open. It was a the long calling out and the long sweet savoring of its life. So this ingredient, you know, we've named these ingredients of the courage to live a radiant life. It's, you know, we start out, we feel the world. We feel the world. We feel the need. We trust ourselves with treasure. We listen to the urgency of our one love. And then we give. According to that passion, we give repeatedly, we give steadfastly, we give rhythmically. We show up and we give. And when we do that, you can bet that some of the times we show up and give, we fall flat, we fail, nobody comes. I think of the time my father gave a lecture and nobody came and he gave the lecture anyway, right? So nobody comes. And nobody comes. And what do? Do you close in? Do you hide? Do you say, no, I can't be visible. If I'm visible, then I will be hurt. If I am visible, then I will be cut down. No, we stay open. We crack our heart wide open and we give ourselves regardless. And it's painful, you know, and it's vulnerable, and it's the soft underbelly, you know, it's the Cancerian soft underbelly that has to dare to come to the light of day and be affected. But we stay in that space of the open heart. And that's a kind of alignment that forms when we do this. So I want to offer one more thing, which is this, that we all have a part of ourselves that we say, this is my gift. Here it is. Here's my gift. I'm giving you my gift. And I feel really good about this gift, and I feel very confident about this gift, and I feel like this is my good stuff, right? And we feel very aligned with it. And then there's a part of us that's like, but don't look here. Or this is kind of wretched. Or I've been embarrassed about it for my entire life and I'll continue to be. Or, you know, there's something that just hides away, or that we belittle, that we push aside, that we marginalize. Right? Now, part of becoming a soul-infused personality, part of being an integrated personality is to welcome all these pieces back in, yes? So, just a little personal story, you know, as Tuya said, here I am, a Leo rising, an Aries sun, and a Capricorn moon, and for my entire life, my Capricorn moon has been very beat up. Has been very maligned from myself, you know, too serious, too stuck, too crystallized, terrified to express emotionally in the moment. I know you don't believe that, but it's true. It's absolutely true. You know, right? So, and this profound sense of that's a place that has to be fixed, or that can never be fixed. So I'll just go on in spite of it, right? So I want to offer you. Some of you know I have a blog called HeidiRose.com, and for my birthday this year, so just a couple of weeks ago, my husband wrote me a poem. So some of you know this poem, but some of you don't. And it is a poem. It's redemption. It's a poem of redemption for me. And he took me to a restaurant. He surprised me, which I love. I love surprises, because then I can't control it. Then I don't know what time we're supposed to be there. I don't know where he should drive. You know, I can just be like, oh. I'm supposed to take a left, park there. I'm really terrible. I mean, I almost have to, like, in the corner of the car, be like, okay. But that's why I love surprises, because I can't do that. So he took me to a restaurant, we sat down, and he handed me this poem, and I first of all, when he handed me it, I just started to sob. And then, just because I knew it was a poem, And I was like, oh, I love poems. And it was a big open restaurant too, so it was one of not you couldn't be like hidden. It was like, oh. So I read it, and then I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, and then I looked at him, and then I put it down, and then I didn't say anything, and then I picked it up and I read it again, and then I cried some more, and it was about a half an hour before I could even speak anything. So, not to build it up or anything, but I offer you this because for me, it was such a, okay, I just offer you this, forget it. The birthday party. I can't imagine it was easy for the goat when she received the invitation to the April Fool's party, which was of course a birthday party too, knowing the ram and the lion would be hosting. The goat probably thought she was to be the fool herself, the serious one in the corner as the others frolicked and jousted. The lion has her quiet moments, she probably thought, as she readied herself to go, trying to forget the lion's preening feline ways. And the ram keeps things lively, not quite remembering that those curving antlers clacked and stung. So she took a breath, her soft flanks puffing gently out, and picked her sure-footed way across the heavens till she found her place behind the waning half-moon. She found them in a meadow of stars. The sight, it must be said, was awesome. In the darkness, the ram's quick hooves struck sparks on the stones, and the lion's grace brought tears to the goat's eyes, an incandescent pair trampling the sod beneath their feet. The goat settled in, watchful, her head high, a wry smile on her lips, vigilant, bemused, comic even, her light fur falling in unkempt tresses. The others were still. It was awkward. The distant cry of a newborn baby broke the silence. The lion's head swiveled, a woofing sound deep in her throat. Suddenly majestic, her vanity banished, her heart beating strong and true. The ram's feet took root in the earth, his throbbing temples cooled, his gaze turned soft and wise. The two fiery ones watched, transfixed, as the goat rose to her feet and began her ascent toward the new girl's cries, step by step, determined at first, but now stepping, now leaping, now bounding, unafraid, joyful, regal even, on four cloven hooves, on sturdy, tireless knees. So that was redemption for me. That was astrologically the moon, which we say, let's move away from that somehow, being uplifted and redeemed. And I think that we can all feel into the moon in our charts, let's just say, and feel the part of us that says that must not come in to somehow. You know, we marginalize it. But there's something that occurs when we say those qualities that we want to dismiss can be integrated and uplifted and redeemed. And that's part of the gift that we give. You know, so I was like, goat. You know, and there was some kind of coming home. So quenching humanity's thirst, the courage to live a radiant life. So I would just like to end this by saying to you, very seriously, like today at lunch, there's a good theme for lunch today, you know. Later at lunch, I want you to turn to somebody, and I want you to say, you know, this is the urgency that calls me to my one love, or this is the piece of the gift that I must offer, because if we do not start with the offering of our gifts and insist upon it, then there's no way that the Leo radiant individual is going to be able to create the lit Aquarian group. Do you know? It's the journey of the radiance of Leo, and then the stepping into the gorgeousness of the Aquarian whole, and then here's what I have to offer, and here's the group light, and here's what I have to offer, and here's the group light. Do you know? Until it's like those little sparkling lights at Christmas time, you know, that are going on. Light, 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 and then suddenly there's the unified whole. Do you know? So offer it up regardless how broken. Offer it up regardless how incomplete. Offer it up regardless how sensitive, shy, all the list. Offer it up. Give yourself fully. Now. Thank you, my friends.
Wow.